In a small Wyoming town, a tragic crime unfolded that would change the lives of one family forever. This is a case of heartbreak, loss, and a mother's desperate struggle with her own mental health. This is the story of Tranyelle Harshman, a woman whose actions on a single day would devastate her family and leave one question unanswered. Why? Tranyelle Harshman, 39 years old, was a mother of 4 daughters. To the outside world, she appeared to be an ordinary woman navigating the trials of daily life. But beneath the surface, Tranyelle was facing overwhelming personal struggles. She was emotionally and mentally exhausted, grappling with a series of hardships that she could no longer handle. What happened on the 10th of February 2025 shocked the quiet community that had known her. It was a day that would end in tragedy, leaving 3 of Tranyelle's daughters dead and 1 critically injured. On that cold day in February, Tranyelle took a firearm and shot 3 of her daughters, 2 of whom were found in their cribs, killing them instantly. Her 4th daughter was also shot, but somehow survived.
We entered into the home. Going in the home, I went back to the one little girl who was actually still alive and administered first aid to her. Held her, stood there with her till EMS arrived and took her and continued first aid.
5 total people with gunshot wounds. 4 of them, young girls, all under 10 years old.
This could have been any town USA. It happened to be Byron's turn. Unfortunately, this could have been any family.
32-year-old Tranyelle Harshman shot her 4 daughters before turning the gun to herself.
I would encourage people to be very careful before they label this situation, as horrible as it is and as tragic as it is.
And as the community comes to grips with the loss and many questions still remain, Bighorn County Sheriff Kenneth Blackburn urges compassion.
As police arrived on the scene, they found the horror that had unfolded in the family home. The shock and devastation were palpable. As Tranyelle's neighbors and community members tried to make sense of the senseless act, authorities quickly began investigating. And what they discovered in the aftermath painted a tragic picture of a woman in severe emotional distress. Tranyelle had been dealing with financial struggles, the pressures of single motherhood, and mental health challenges that had taken a significant toll on her. Yet, to those closest to her, no one saw the danger that lurked behind the scenes. The shooting was not premeditated, but rather the result of an emotional breakdown. Tranyelle's state of mind had been deteriorating for some time, and it became clear that her mental health struggles had been escalating, though few knew just how severe it had become. In the days following the tragedy, the surviving daughter who had been rushed to the hospital fought for her life. Doctors did everything they could to stabilize her, but the emotional and psychological scars of what she had experienced would remain with her for the rest of her life. The question that plagued everyone around her was this: what could have driven a mother once loving and devoted to take the lives of her own children? Tranyelle's mental health had been deteriorating, though her struggles had been largely hidden from those around her. She was reportedly dealing with feelings of hopelessness and despair, feelings that she perhaps could not express, or maybe felt no one would understand. The toll of trying to keep everything together while facing unrelenting personal difficulties seemed to have broken her. Mental health struggles, particularly among mothers, can be difficult to detect. And in Tranyelle's case, it appears that no one realized the full extent of her suffering until it was too late. Her actions serve as a tragic reminder that sometimes the pain people are going through remains locked inside with devastating consequences. In the aftermath of the incident, Tranyelle was also rushed to the hospital, having shot herself after committing the unimaginable act. She too was fighting for her life, but the damage to her family was already done. The surviving daughter, still in critical condition, would have to navigate life with the weight of losing her siblings and coping with the trauma of that day. Family members, friends, and the community at large were left in disbelief. How could this happen? What pushed Tranyelle to such an extreme? As the legal process unfolded, investigators were left with more questions than answers. While it was clear that Tranyelle had been struggling with severe emotional turmoil, understanding the root cause of her actions remained elusive. It was not a crime born of malice or hatred, but one of overwhelming despair. This tragedy has cast a long shadow over Tranyelle's surviving daughter, who must now learn to cope with not only the physical wounds of that day, but also the emotional scars of losing her siblings and enduring the horror of the shooting. The story of Tranyelle Harshman's devastating actions underscores the need for greater awareness of mental health struggles, particularly in mothers and families who may be silently enduring emotional pain. As this tragedy unfolds, we are reminded of the importance of providing support to those in need, of reaching out before it's too late. The case of Tranyelle Harshman is a heartbreaking one, leaving behind a grieving family, a shattered community, and a young girl who will have to live with the trauma of that day for the rest of her life. If you or someone you know is struggling with emotional distress or suicidal thoughts, please seek help. There is always someone who can help you through the darkest moments. This is the tragic story of Tranyelle Harshman, a story that will leave an indelible mark on all who hear it.